So let's go back to the information that was given to us. To find the crossover rate, 1 year at a time, you compute the difference between the cash flows. So for year 0, the initial investment for A is minus 100, and it's also minus 100 for project B. What's the difference between the $2 amounts? It's $0. They're the same. Now in year 1, what's the difference between $50 for project A and $20 for project B? 50 minus 20 gives 30. For year 2, you do the same thing. 40 minus 40 equals 0. For year 3, you have 40 minus 50 equals minus 10. And for the 4th year, you have 30 minus 60 equals minus 30. So how do you know for which project the cash flows should be subtracted? Well, it actually doesn't matter. Instead of doing A minus B, you can also do B minus A. The only change that you would see is that the signs would be flipped. So where you now have a positive value, you would have a negative value instead, a negative sign. But that's not going to affect our crossover rate calculation. So this is your step 1. Find the difference in the cash flows for the 2 projects, 1 year at a time. And be consistent, either do A minus B or B minus A. Step 2, find the IRR based on these calculated differences in the cash flows. So let's do that together. Okay, so what do we have? Let's start by clearing the calculator. Second, plus minus, enter. Off and back on. Cash flow key. Cash flow 0 is 0 from our calculations. So I press enter to save that number and the down arrow key. Cash flow 01. The difference in the cash flows between projects A and B is 30. I press 30, enter, down, and down again. Cash flow 02. That's again 0. I press enter, down, and down. Cash flow 03, we have negative 10. I press 10, plus minus, enter, down arrow, and down arrow key again. And the last cash flow number 4 in the future, is negative $30. So I press 30, plus minus, enter, down arrow, and down arrow again. I'm done. And then I press IRR compute, 11.07. So 11.07% is where the 2 NPV lines for projects A and B cross. This is the crossover rate. What's so special about it? That's where the 2 net present values are equal. So if the required return is exactly 11.07%, which project should you choose? Either one is okay to choose. It doesn't matter. They both give you the same profit. But kind of a more important implication of like what 11.07% means is that's where the switch occurs between choosing project A and choosing project B. So anything lower than 11.07%, you would choose the project with the higher NPV line. And in our example, that's project B. If the required return is slightly higher than 11.07%, that's when you switch to accepting project A instead, because the NPV is higher for project A than for project B. Here's another example on calculating the crossover rate. You're analyzing the following 2 mutually exclusive projects and have developed the following information. Project A would require an initial investment of $75,000, so that's a negative cash flow. Then in years 1, 2, and 3, it will generate the profits in the following amounts: $26,300, $29,500, $45,300. For project B, the required initial investment is the same, $75,000 in year 0, and the profits in the next 3 years will be $24,000, $26,900, and $51,300. Calculate the crossover rate. To solve this problem, we need to find the difference between the cash flows, 1 year at a time. For example, we can do project A cash flow minus project B cash flow. Although if you do it B minus A, it wouldn't change our answer. So if we do A cash flow minus B cash flow, then for year 0 we have negative 75,000 minus the same number, which is 0. For year 1 we have $26,300 minus $24,000, which gives $2,300. For year 2 you get $2,600, and for year 3 you get negative $6,000. The second step is take these resulting differences in cash flows, use them in the cash flow keys in the financial calculator, and compute the internal rate of return. When you do that, you get 14.6%. And you can see how you would enter the numbers in the calculator. So let's do that together. Turn the calculator on. Let's start by clearing it. Second, plus minus, enter. Start by pressing the cash flow button. For year 0 we have 0. So you want to save what's on the display, which is $0, by entering enter. Then press the down arrow key. Cash flow 01, that's the first cash flow in the future. For that we want to enter 2,300, the difference between A and B cash flows for that year. So I put 2,300, I save it by pressing enter, I press the down arrow key. The frequency of it should be kept at 1, which is the default, because we only have 2,300 once, consecutively or once at all, right? So press the down arrow key once again. Cash flow 02, the second one in the future, that's 2,600. 2,600, enter, down and down again. And the last one for the third year is 6,000. Make it negative by pressing the plus minus key. Save it by pressing enter. Then press the down arrow key and press it one more time. Now, to find the internal rate of return, you press IRR and then compute. 14.60%. That's the answer. And so each project will have its own NPV profile, the line that slopes down and to the right, showing the net present value for different discount rates that are tried, and the two lines will be crossing where the discount rate is 14.6%. And to the left of it you will pick one project, to the right of it you will pick another project.